Who really wins in a fight between the Hulk and Wolverine? Across nearly 5 decades, these two forces of nature have clashed again and again. One is all rage and muscle, the other claws and an unbreakable will. Every time they clash, chaos erupts. But after all of these years, who actually comes out on top? And just how far will each of them go to survive? From Wolverine's very first appearance to some of Marvel's bloodiest battles, we're going through every time the Hulk fought Wolverine, and who actually walked away as the victor. So in this video, I've put together a list of what I think are the most important battles to determine the true victor between these two brutal characters. I've tried to stick to the 616 universe, so some fights you might be expecting aren't here, like Ultimate Hulk vs Wolverine, Old Man Logan, or any of the What If stories. For clarity and consistency, we're sticking to the mainline comics, so let's jump in. Let's kick off our list with the Incredible Hulk issues 180 to 182 from 1974, and also Wolverine Origins issue 28 from 2008. This fight was first told in the Incredible Hulk series, but years later, we also saw Wolverine's point of view, featuring an updated art style and deeper insight into Wolverine's mindset. This battle is especially significant because it marks Wolverine's first ever appearance in Marvel Comics, not in an X-Men title, but right here in the Incredible Hulk run. To start with some context, Hulk is found rampaging through the Canadian North Woods, drawing the attention of the Canadian Air Force. They decide to release their secret weapon, Weapon X, also known as Wolverine. Meanwhile, in the forest, we meet Marie Cartier and George Baptiste, who are attempting to use dark magic to shift the curse of the Wendigo from Marie's brother Paul into the Hulk. As Hulk tears through the woods, he's lured into a cave and tricked into falling asleep. But when he awakens too early, it completely ruins Marie's plan. She's brought both Hulk and Wendigo into the same space, and once Hulk sees Wendigo, he does what he does best: smash. The two monsters clash in an earth-shaking brawl, trading massive blows and uprooting trees. Wendigo slams Hulk over the head with a log, but Hulk retaliates by literally ripping up the ground beneath him. It's a brutal, even match until Weapon X arrives. Wolverine interrupts, shouting, "If you really want to tangle with someone, why not try your luck against the Wolverine?" The Canadian Air Force gives Wolverine 6 hours to bring down the Hulk before they intervene. Wolverine leaps into battle immediately, but he quickly discovers a major problem. His adamantium claws can barely pierce Hulk's skin. Before this, Wolverine had no interest in Wendigo, but realizing Hulk might be too tough to drop quickly, he shifts his focus to the weaker target. Hulk sees Wolverine attacking Wendigo and mistakes him for an ally, declaring, "If Hulk's enemy is Little Man's enemy, then Little Man is Hulk's friend." Believing Wolverine is on his side, Hulk joins in, and together they take Wendigo down, leaving him unconscious. Then, in a quiet moment, Wolverine sucker punches Hulk, betraying that fragile alliance. Hulk stands up, confused and heartbroken, growling, "Hulk thought you were Hulk's friend. Hulk trusted you, but you betrayed Hulk. Attacked Hulk just like all the other puny humans. Little Man made a fool of Hulk, and for that, Hulk will smash." From there, they go at it hard. Hulk hurls massive boulders while Wolverine dodges and counters with surgical precision. Wolverine proves he's too fast and skilled to be taken down easily, but the fight is interrupted when Marie uses her dark arts and a chemical mixture to knock both fighters unconscious. Hulk reverts back into Bruce Banner, while Wolverine is restrained in chains. It doesn't last long. Banner quickly transforms back into the Hulk, furious and ready to finish the job. He hoists Wolverine over his head, attempting to end the fight once and for all. Wolverine breaks free, and as they prepare to clash again, Wendigo suddenly returns, frightening Marie. The distraction gives Hulk an opening. He barely taps Wolverine on the head, but even that light hit is enough to send Wolverine staggering to the ground. At that moment, the Canadian Air Force intervenes. Wolverine insists he can keep fighting, but the truth is clear. Hulk has been barely scratched the entire battle. The Canadian Air Force eventually manages to subdue Hulk temporarily, putting him to sleep in a titanium steel cage, though it doesn't take long for him to break out again. Years later, in Wolverine Origins issue 28, we see the same fight from Wolverine's perspective. This retelling makes Hulk's punch seem far more devastating. We feel the impact through Wolverine's narration. Wolverine admits that few people can describe what it's like to be hit by the Hulk because so few survive it. He says, "There ain't no pain at first. It's like he hits you so damn hard, you actually leave your own body. It's when you come back that you feel it. When you realize you've gone toe to toe with a walking earthquake." Even though Wolverine initially believed he could keep going, he later admits that this was just a bravado. He was completely out of his depth and only survived thanks to the Canadian Air Force's intervention. To sum it up, the Canadian Air Force had faith that Wolverine could stop the Hulk, but in truth, he barely slowed him down. Hulk shrugged off everything Wolverine threw at him, while Wolverine himself barely survived the encounter. Even Wolverine later acknowledged that taking a hit from the Hulk was unlike anything he'd ever experienced. So this one goes to Hulk, decisively. Wolverine put up a brave fight, but he was completely outmatched. The Hulk stands with 1 point and Wolverine with 0. Now let's discuss the second major fight between Hulk and Wolverine, from The Incredible Hulk issue 340, 1988. Some of you may recognize the front cover of this issue. It's iconic, featuring Wolverine facing off against the Grey Hulk, reflected in his claws. For a bit of context, Hulk, along with his companions Clay Quartermain and Rick Jones, are making their way through a heavy snowstorm in Texas. They are currently lost, and Hulk is growing increasingly frustrated. Sitting inside a vehicle, he wants out. And since neither Rick nor Clay want to provoke him further, they don't argue. The Hulk simply does what he wants. He steps outside and immediately leaps into the air. Meanwhile, the X-Men's Blackbird jet is flying nearby. Inside are Havoc, Rogue, Psylocke, Longshot, Dazzler, and Wolverine. As the Hulk soars through the air, it's a near miss. He almost collides with the Blackbird, but instead of hitting it, he smashes into a nearby commercial jet. The X-Men spring into action immediately. Rogue is able to prevent any civilians from being harmed. When she removes the burning engine from the airliner, she throws it down into what should have been an empty area, but it lands directly on top of the Hulk. At first, the team doesn't realize he's even there until Wolverine goes down to investigate the wreckage. As he examines the scene, he picks up on a scent, one he knows well, but it's slightly different due to the Hulk's grey form. Before Wolverine can react further, Hulk gets the drop on him, leaping forward with raw aggression. Wolverine spins around and instinctively slashes, cutting the Hulk across the chest, drawing first blood. At this stage, Wolverine takes a step back. The last thing he wants is a full-on fight with the Hulk, especially since he doesn't want to risk going into a berserker rage. He apologizes, tries to defuse the situation, and attempts to walk away. But of course, Hulk isn't having it. He starts to rage, reminding Wolverine of their first encounter in Canada, saying something along the lines of, "You think I've forgotten? When we first met, I just wanted to be left alone. You couldn't back off." Wolverine keeps retreating, telling Hulk that he's changed since then. But Hulk doesn't stop. Eventually, he releases his infamous thunderclap. Wolverine, with his enhanced hearing, describes it as almost lethal. The force of it disorientates him, and he admits the Hulk isn't giving him a second to think. Then, thought disappears, replaced by fury, anger, and instinct. Wolverine gives into it, saying he's tired of fighting himself. Every muscle tenses, and in that moment, he fully commits. He extends his claws and drives them straight into the Hulk's gut, unleashing a flurry of savage attacks. Believing he's won, Wolverine howls in triumph, but his instincts tell him something his mind refuses to believe. He turns around and sees the Hulk already standing, angrier, stronger, and healing at an incredible rate. The gaping wound in his stomach closes before his eyes. Hulk simply smirks and says, "Let's try that again." Wolverine charges back in, attacking again and again, but he notices something new. Every time he cuts the Hulk, the healing process accelerates. He realizes Hulk's skin isn't truly impenetrable. Instead, his cells regenerate so rapidly that they seem indestructible. The madder Hulk gets, the faster his body heals, the tougher and stronger he becomes. Eventually, Hulk grabs Wolverine by both arms and slams him into the ground. Wolverine's agility keeps him in the fight, landing several deep stabs and slashes, but Hulk's strength is simply overwhelming. At one point, Hulk hurls Wolverine through a tree. Both of them are now locked in, neither backing down, both ready to fight to the death. Just as things reach their peak, Clay Quatermain fires a rocket launcher between them, breaking up the battle. He scolds them for fighting in the middle of a crisis, reminding them that there are more important things to deal with. The fight stops and Hulk walks away. In my opinion, this one's a tie. Wolverine got in some serious hits and proved he could hurt the Hulk, but Hulk shrugged them off and healed almost instantly. The fight was clearly unfinished and neither combatant walked away in worse shape than the other, so this one is unresolved but evenly matched. That leaves Hulk with 1 point, Wolverine with 0, and 1 tie. Now moving swiftly on to the third fight, we have the Incredible Hulk issue 454 from 1997. A quick note before we jump in. At this point in Marvel continuity, Wolverine is using bone claws, having lost his adamantium, and the Hulk is, bizarrely enough, the leader of a tribe called the Low-Cut tribe within the Savage Land. Wolverine is currently with Kazar and Leisha, and together they anticipate that the Low-Cut tribe will soon attack another group called the Noet tribe. They agree to stop the Hulk but refuse to get involved in the political conflict between the two tribes. Their prediction turns out to be correct. As they hide among the trees, they witness the Low-Cut tribe marching into war, led by the Hulk himself, making his grand entrance by plowing through everything in his path. Immediately, the Hulk is hit by a barrage of arrows from the Noet tribe, but they barely do anything to him. The arrows just bounce off of his skin. Wasting no time, Wolverine jumps into the fray and takes on the Hulk one-on-one once again. Wolverine calculates that his surprise attack might be his best chance. The Hulk isn't expecting him, so if Wolverine can land a good hit and slice his throat, it could be the end of the fight right there. He strikes quickly, slashing the Hulk across the neck. The Hulk grabs his throat and looks down at his hands in confusion, noticing there is no blood and barely a scratch on his neck. He growls, "No metal? What are these, bones?" Wolverine simply replies, "Yeah." And that's all it takes for the Hulk to lose it. He lashes out furiously, knocking Wolverine away with ease. Meanwhile, in the background, the Low-Cut and Noet tribes are locked in a large-scale battle of their own. Wolverine tries to talk sense into Hulk, explaining that he's being used by the Low-Cut tribe and that he should just walk away before it's too late. But once the Hulk gets a hold of Wolverine, pinning him to the ground, it's clear that reasoning with him is pointless. Then something completely unexpected happens. The entire battle is interrupted by the sudden appearance of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The massive dinosaur charges towards the Hulk and clamps down on him in its jaws, giving Wolverine just enough time to escape. The T-Rex then flings the Hulk high into the air, hurling him across the Savage Land. After this chaotic interruption, the two tribes join forces to take down the T-Rex, eventually succeeding. Once again, this is another encounter that doesn't have a clear winner. Without his adamantium claws, Wolverine stood little chance of seriously hurting the Hulk, but the fight ended before it could reach any kind of conclusion, thanks to the dinosaur crashing the battle. So once again, I'd call this fight a tie. It feels unresolved, neither fighter was truly defeated. That keeps the score at Hulk 1, Wolverine 0, and 2 ties. Now, keeping things moving, this time we're covering a Wolverine comic book run. Wolverine Volume 2, issue 145 from 1999. This one's a bit different because it doesn't feature the same version of Wolverine we've been following so far. Here, Wolverine has taken on the mantle of death, one of Apocalypse's Horsemen. His first mission under Apocalypse's control is to take down the Hulk. Wolverine, now the Horseman Death, attacks the Hulk by surprise, landing a devastating slash across his back. The Hulk doesn't even realize who's attacking him because Wolverine's appearance has changed. He's wearing a completely different costume and carries Apocalypse's influence. When the Hulk roars, "Who tries to hurt Hulk?" Wolverine replies coldly, "Death comes for the Hulk." And you almost have to feel bad for the Hulk here. He once again shouts, "Why do puny humans always hound Hulk?" before lunging at Wolverine with pure rage. Wolverine responds, "There's no place for you in the Master's new order." But the Hulk recovers quickly and lands a massive hit, sending Wolverine flying with a single devastating blow. Wolverine wastes no time recovering. He counters fast, stabbing the Hulk in the back and then grabbing his sword once again. But once the Hulk gets a hold of him, he traps Wolverine in a crushing bear hug, squeezing him tighter and tighter while shouting, "Hulk is the strongest one there is." Wolverine screams out in pain. In desperation, Wolverine headbutts Hulk. The impact tears away part of his mask and revealing his face. The Hulk recognizes him instantly and growls, "You, Little Man." Hulk met Little Man long ago. Hulk fought Little Man many times. Little Man always hounds Hulk, tries to cut Hulk. No matter where Hulk goes, Little Man's always there to hurt Hulk. This time, Hulk hurts you. He then rips a massive tree from the ground and slams it down onto Wolverine with brutal force. Wolverine, battered and half broken, mutters through gritted teeth, "Let's get this over with," and unleashes his full berserker rage. But even in that state, it's clear there's nothing he can do. The Hulk pins him down and smashes him over and over again. Absolutely relentless. Wolverine describes the beating in his narration. Adamantium skeleton folds as muscle and flesh turns to jelly against the massive tree. Consciousness fading. A last effort. Given the monster's proximity, seems futile. But the great beast's own momentum does what the Savage Horseman's sinew could not. Pinned against the tree, Wolverine manages to slash the Hulk with his claws one last time. Just enough to regain some space. He leaps forward and attacks again, stabbing Hulk repeatedly in a final flurry. But then comes the key moment. Wolverine hesitates. Even under Apocalypse's control, deep in his berserker rage, there's still a small part of Wolverine that remembers who he truly is. A hero. That moment of hesitation costs him everything. The Hulk takes advantage, slamming Wolverine into the ground and beating down on him repeatedly until Wolverine is left broken and motionless. The Hulk stands victorious and walks away, leaving Wolverine beaten and barely conscious. So in this fight, I have to give the win to the Hulk. But to give credit to Wolverine, he just hesitated for a moment too long. But against the Hulk, that's all it takes. The result? The Hulk completely dominates this encounter. That brings our running total to Hulk has 2 wins, Wolverine 0, and then 2 ties. So let's jump into the next fight between Wolverine and the Hulk. This one actually comes from a short joint run, only 4 issues titled Hulk Wolverine 2002. This run is really interesting. The art style is incredibly unique and the story stands strong on its own. I won't spoil too much because it's definitely worth reading, but here's the long story short. Wolverine crash lands his plane in New Mexico, where he stumbles across a strange, mysterious young girl named Poe. She explains that she needs his help to rescue her father. Wolverine agrees to help her, but soon meets her uncle, whom she calls Uncle Bruce. Unfortunately for Wolverine, that turns out to be none other than Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. Now it's up to Wolverine and the Hulk to reluctantly team up and help this mysterious girl. Throughout the story though, the two are constantly at odds. Wolverine and Poe struggle to keep the Hulk calm, but there are several moments when the Hulk lashes out violently at Wolverine. Wolverine takes a savage beating multiple times. At first, he's reluctant to fight back, focusing on calming the Hulk down to protect Poe. However, there's a moment when Wolverine tries to distract the Hulk with a flare, calling it a pretty light. The Hulk simply blows it out. That's when Wolverine's rage finally gets the better of him. As they make their way through the snowy landscape, the Hulk continues chasing Wolverine, forcing Wolverine into situations where he's simply running and hiding from him. Eventually, they come across the wreckage of a plane, and Wolverine spends quite some time avoiding direct confrontation. But inevitably, the Hulk tracks Wolverine down. The two unleash a series of brutal attacks against each other, resulting in the Hulk temporarily reverting back to Bruce Banner. However, when Wolverine and Bruce fall off the side of a mountain, Banner quickly transforms back into the Hulk. It's then revealed that the young girl, Poe, has a mysterious song connected to Bruce's past. When she sings it, it causes the Hulk intense pain, stopping him from attacking. From this point on, the two are finally able to work together. Now, whilst I'm leaning towards giving this one to the Hulk, since Wolverine spends most of the story avoiding direct combat and taking heavy hits, Poe's ability to paralyze or weaken the Hulk makes it difficult to declare a clear winner. So I'm calling this one a tie. Another unresolved fight, but one that ends with both characters putting aside their differences to help the mysterious girl, Poe. And again, I highly recommend reading Hulk Wolverine 2002 if you're looking for a short, self-contained story. It's only 4 issues long. So with this one counted, that brings the score to Hulk with 2 points, Wolverine with 0 points, and 3 ties. Now this next fight is a little different because it takes place during World War Hulk X-Men 2007. Technically, it's more of a Hulk versus the entire X-Men battle, but it's absolutely worth mentioning on this list. A bit of context first. The Hulk approaches Professor X to ask what he would have voted during the Illuminati's decision to send Hulk off-world. Professor X wasn't present at that meeting and never cast a vote, so the Hulk decides to track him down to ask him directly. At this point in the story, the Hulk is on his World War Hulk Rampage, and the X-Men do everything they can to slow him down. But this version of the Hulk, often referred to as Worldbreaker Hulk, is one of the strongest we've ever seen. Wolverine joins the fight alongside Emma Frost, Colossus, Cyclops, and Kitty Pryde, arriving just in time to face the chaos. Earlier in this run, several younger mutants, including Dust, Elixir, Helion, Mercury, Prodigy, Rockslide, Surge, and X-23, are all completely overwhelmed by the Hulk's power. Doing what he does best, Wolverine sneaks in with a surprise attack, stabbing Hulk in the back. The rest of the X-Men quickly follow up, with Cyclops blasting Hulk with his optic beams, but it barely slows him down. Wolverine slashes Hulk across the ribs, landing a solid hit, but all it takes is one punch from the Hulk to send Wolverine flying across the battlefield. For much of this fight, Wolverine is out of commission while the Hulk continues to take down the entire team. He crushes Beast, knocks out Emma Frost, and even breaks Colossus's arms. When Wolverine finally returns, costume torn and angrier than ever, he leaps back into the fray, slashing Hulk repeatedly. Realizing he's not doing much damage, Wolverine goes for the eyes, but the Hulk catches him and delivers one of the most brutal beatdowns of their rivalry. Hulk asks, "You ever see a boxer who took too many shots to the head? They can't walk right, can't do much of anything. The brain's all scrambled. So let's see what happens if your brain smashes against the inside of your metal skull. Again and again and again." Hulk then repeatedly punches Wolverine's head with full force, leaving him bloodied, swollen, and barely conscious, simply dangling like a rag doll. After this, the Hulk continues his rampage, before finally cornering Professor X. Wolverine tries to jump back in, but it's the same result. Hulk flings him aside like nothing. This fight shows a version of the Hulk at both peak strength and peak battle intelligence, and the X-Men simply cannot stop him. Wolverine is just another name on the list of heroes Hulk destroys during this event. So not only is this a clear win for the Hulk over Wolverine, but it's also a win for Hulk over the entire X-Men team. So the score so far: Hulk 3 points, Wolverine 0, and 3 ties. Next, we move to Savage Wolverine issue 5 from 2013. Here, Wolverine once again finds himself in the Savage Land, alongside Amadeus Cho and Shana the She-Devil. Wolverine is attempting to shut down a dangerous machine, only to realize that it's actually powering an alien prison, one that contains a being known as the Darkwalker. Shana manages to stop Wolverine before he makes things worse, but suddenly, they are ambushed by the Hulk. Amadeus Cho steps in and manages to calm things down before a real fight can start, warning that any battle here could destroy the machine and unleash the Darkwalker. Unfortunately, things spiral out of control when the Hulk is attacked by a gorilla. As the Hulk and the creature brawl, they demolish the surrounding structure, putting the alien prison at risk. Shana and Wolverine quickly jump into action. Shana tries to pull the gorilla off of the Hulk, while Wolverine goes straight for Hulk himself, stabbing him through the head. Now, this is a huge moment because up until this point, Hulk's skin was thought to be nearly impenetrable, but Wolverine manages to pierce his skull, one of the few times he's ever done so successfully. Hulk collapses instantly. Unfortunately, it's too late. The building is destroyed and the Darkwalker is freed. As Wolverine, Amadeus Cho, and Shana watch the alien rise into the sky, Hulk reappears completely unharmed, having regenerated from the head wound almost immediately. Hulk leaps into the air to stop the Darkwalker, but the alien flicks him away effortlessly. Almost exactly how Hulk treated Wolverine during World War Hulk. The bomb Hulk planned to use explodes in his hand mid-air, and in one of the strangest comic moments ever, a whale leaps from the water and swallows Hulk whole, leaving everyone stunned. Wolverine just stares and mutters, "Damn." Amadeus Cho admits, "Okay, that was actually pretty awesome." It's a short but chaotic encounter, and honestly there's no real winner here, except maybe the whale, but for now let's call it a tie. So as we wrap up this list, the full updated tally stands at Hulk with 3 points, Wolverine with an unfortunate 0, and 4 ties. After nearly 50 years of blood, rage, and regeneration, the score is clear. The Hulk wins more battles, but Wolverine never truly loses. Every time they fight, Wolverine stands back up. Every time the Hulk smashes him down, Wolverine heals, snarls, and goes again. Because deep down, these two aren't just enemies. They are reflections of each other, both cursed with power, both fighting to control the monster inside. So maybe the real question isn't who wins, but which one survives as themselves the longest. Do you agree with my verdict? Is the Hulk really the winner overall? Did I miss any crucial moments between these two that might change my mind? And what kind of video would you like to see next? Or whose incredible feats do you want to hear all about? Let me know in the comments. And if you're still craving more Marvel Comics content, then make sure to check out the rest of my channel where I upload content just like this every single week. But for the meantime, peace, peace, peace!